All right. Hello, everyone.
Hello, Mr. Happy.
So, does anyone have any more information about the double slit experiment?
What, rather than the 100 years or so that we've had already?
Like, if I want, the original double slit. Do you know anything about that? Let's start with that.
Yeah, it was done by Bob, and Bob and Mark got together and they cut two little slits, and then they noticed interference patterns and lack of interference patterns, and Mark said to Bob, "Hey, that's pretty cool."
Mm-hmm.
Hey, good morning, Mr. Slave.
Hey.
So, see, Mr. Slave, we had productive conversations yesterday, didn't we? Or at least on-topic conversations, and not just relentlessly filling your manuscripts with Hitler references and Peter Griffin.
Yeah, yesterday was amazing, definitely. So, but now I want to figure it out. So thus far, I've been able to thoroughly dismantle the quantum weirdness, and it's completely classical for me. Now, the only problem I'm having is with this double slit experiment.
So when you say classical, do you sort of mean Tchaikovsky, Beethoven, Mozart, Brahms, Mahler?
I'm going to ignore nonsense. So let's talk seriously. So
Hello.
so like every quantum weirdness is classical for me. Nothing is weird.
How do you explain the Stern-Gerlach experiment?
The Stern-Gerlach. What's the question? I mean, they explained it very well. What?
Why is the how in a classical explanation is the why would we not observe a smooth continuous pattern? Why do we observe two distinct states on the particle beam when it goes through the splitting field?
Well, let's think about it. I mean, they didn't think there's any. I mean, so I don't see any weirdness on its face. So let's analyze. Let's try and understand why you feel there's any weirdness. So
because it's not a continuous mirror.
But we know what causes discontinuities. We know at the end of the day there are the universe is composed of elementary particles.
Okay, but under the classical, right? So classical mechanics.
Yeah.
Systems. Do you disagree with this characterization of classical mechanics? These are slides I put together.
No, there's no disagreement. I mean.
Well, I'm just curious. Okay, let's start from an initial set of assumptions then.
1 second, let me just. I'm expecting business calls. I gotta just let people know that I'm busy.
Yeah, no
give me a few seconds. Let me just type a message.
Much more reasonable talk than business.
How is the drug business in Estonia, by the
way? Hey, that's stereotyping. How is the human trafficking business in Estonia?
Come on, that's stereotyping. Hey, dude, where's my car? I'm from Finland.
If he's actually from Estonia, that'd be funny as fuck.
Hey, Mr. Slave, are you from Estonia?
I don't discuss any personal details. Let's continue. So look from a
I'm coming there
on its face, the notion that there's that the quantum realm is not classical on its face makes no sense. Because
let's define the terms. Look at do you see my screen?
Oh no, you didn't. Let me watch stream.
Yeah.
Yes, I see your screen. Yes.
So yeah, this is how I define classical mechanics. Might not be the best definition, but
No, you're showing us.
You're showing Discord right now.
oh, that's not very useful.
Well. Okay. As you're setting up. Oh, okay.
It could have been worse. You could have done a Johnny B and showed your web tabs with sexy femboys.
Yeah, well, this is the computer I use for work, so I keep my sexy femboys to my phone primarily.
Anyway, look. Yes,
sensible.
This is classical mechanics with this is gravitation. This is, I guess, Newtonian gravitation or something, right?
It doesn't necessarily matter. The key points are, if we could deterministically know all of the variables in the equation, we can predict deterministically where the particle would land.
Okay.
If I had a vacuum chamber and I'm shooting particles at a non-relativistic speed in a parabolic trajectory, I can predict where they are going to land deterministically.
I
bet you could.
Within an error margin, right? There's always an error margin.
Right. So, but if we under our assumptions, if we assume that
no
things
assumptions
could be known.
No assumptions. Okay. We have to be completely realistic. So there's always error margins. We can estimate the error bars, and within the error, we have to live. We live within error bars.
Sure, but up to those error bars, things can be predicted deterministically. Do you agree?
Yes. In other words, look, I'll tell you my assumption about the definition of science. The definition of science is the universe is mechanical. If you don't assume the universe, meaning for every effect there must be a cause, and it's completely understandable to a baby, to a child. When you show the cause and effect to a child, they will understand it. So the universe cannot be weird by definition of science. That is the assumption from which I'm working.
Okay, well, as long as you recognize that it's an assumption.
No. And if you don't accept the assumption, go worship Jesus, go worship gods, go believe in goblins and monsters. You have nothing to do with rationality. You have detached from an intellectual conversation. We're no longer having so it's either you go with my assumption or you go worship, goblins or whatever. It's the universe. Right, because you believe you're saying the universe. There's no causality in this universe, and you sometimes there is causality that cannot be understood. I don't know what it means that there is causality that cannot be understood. I don't know what it means for the universe to be weird. I don't know what it means. So as soon as you say, let's try to work together. I'll just finish my monologue. So as soon as you say the universe could be weird, we cannot. I cannot have a conversation because I don't know what it means for anything to be weird. I just don't know. What's the definition of weird?
Oh, let me show you why this is so weird.
Define weird.
Well, it's a little bit difficult because I need to walk you through where we got to the Stern-Gerlach experiment in quantum mechanics. If you don't want to do that, then I don't really see
I'll do anything. I don't have a problem. I'll gladly follow you and discuss anything. That's not. Of course, I am open-minded. My point is.
Well,
no. Fine, no problem. My point is, you can respond any which way you want, but my point is, I'd rather you define weird or define, because I define science for you very clearly. Now, and you say you cannot work with that assumption, with that definition. Fine, you define science. You tell me what your assumptions are. There's no point in having a discussion about the evidence. Maybe we agree on the contention. So let's get the philosophy out of the way. I gave you my definition of science. I gave you my working assumptions. You don't accept them. Fine, give me yours.
Well, my definition of science is pretty straightforward. Oops, I got to close the femboy folder.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thanks for that. This is this sexy lady from Flat Earth University. Make sure that you can take a look at this one.
But I think the problem, Mr. Slave, you've got is, the consideration that we consider nature to be uniform is an assumption in itself. It's an axiom that we base things upon, isn't it? Not unknown.
I gave you my assumptions, and you told me you cannot work with these assumptions. So fine. So
I
give
didn't
me.
say anything of the sort, Mr.
No,
Slave.
no, I'm referring to you in general. The universe, the big physics.
That's fine. Then be specific if you're going to be specific.
No, I'm not blaming anyone. I'm saying you, meaning me from 2 months ago. I used to speak like you 3 months ago. In my previous definition.
That's fine. Then be specific, because when you say you, when I'm talking to you, I'm assuming when you say you mean me.
I'm sorry.
That is a reasonable assumption, is it not?
Yeah. I meant big physics.
Wait, what about if there's someone in the room called you?
That's a problem.
So, at what point does big physics become large enough to become black hole physics?
But it reaches critical mass.
You missed it earlier. We've derived mathematically the smallest possible and largest possible circle jerks. So
wow, that's incredible.
That
is, you should write publish a paper on that.
He wouldn't be interested unless you forced him into it.
No,
that's what we call handy physics.
No, I told you it's not that I need to be forced. I need to
What's
be
a
forced.
one-man
I need to be.
circle jerk?
Anyway, sea lion.
Okay, if a girlfriend asks you to join the great circle jerk of mankind, then
it has to be a hot girl, not just any girl.
All right, okay, a hot girl.
Weren't you into forced homosexuality, though? That's what you said.
All right,
fuck. That's tough.
Here we go. This is how I define a scientific theory. It's very simple.
The key criteria to define a scientific theory from which we can define a broader definition of a scientific field is that it must be one, measurable through empirical observation, falsifiable, make specific testable predictions, be based on the principle of natural causes. Okay.
And this is primarily based on Francis Bacon, Karl Popper, but you can trace this back all the way to Plato if you like, the derivation of this definition of science.
Okay.
Extensive citation.
Wait. Either, why don't you just copy paste it to the chat so I can reference it at any time. Look, there's nothing here. I don't think there's anything here I disagree with, but these are the effects of the assumption. These come out of one underlying assumption, whereas you're pasting it in the general chat.
Yep.
Okay, look, so measurable through empirical observation, of course I agree with. Falsifiable, of course I agree with. Make specific testable, of course I agree with. Be based on the principle of natural causes. Well, that's a problem to say natural, so like everything is natural. But of course I agree with it. Look, there's nothing I disagree with. Of course, this is a good. These are good criteria, but that's
point number 4 is to exclude explanations that would say because God.
God is a completely scientific. I don't have a problem with God as if you define God scientifically. So if God is empirically observable, I don't have a problem with God. So that's incorrect. To say God is not scientific is by definition. Then if you define,
let me rephrase this. If somebody says the explanation is because magic, does that help?
No, if you define magic as empirically observable, if it's falsifiable. No.
Magic is by definition meant to be something supernatural.
My whole point is, so it's either I would. You see, you see the issue with these 4 criteria. You're beginning to see the issue. So you're trying to stay away from magic, which is what I'm trying to do. Therefore, I'm saying causality. The universe is causal.
Good. So we're in violent agreement. So let's carry on. We all accept these four steps of definition. Good stuff.
Okay, please don't cut me off. So So causality, but it's not just any causality, because you could say causality, but it's still, you can claim that I cannot understand the cause and effect. So no, my definition of science, it's causal, but it's simple. It's simple causality, so that if I show you cause and effect, a baby will understand it. That's my definition of science. That's this universe. If you don't accept that, then you believe in magic. That's what I'm saying.
So quantum particles is not part of science, then, even though they are measured.
Okay, so you're going to an example. So I gave you the rules. That's why I feel
it was just a clarifying question.
Your definition of science is that it has to be so simple a baby could understand it. That's literally what you just said, right?
yes, exactly.
Okay, well, I'm afraid then that your science can be no more complicated than, because that's
Yeah.
about the limit of the extent of a baby's understanding.
Okay, I mean
How
a
do you
little
spell
child, not that type of baby, a little child.
Let me say it again.
Let's
How do you
get back.
spell that?
Let's
And
get
if
back.
you want to,
I mean,
it's
Let's
spelled out as
accent.
pondering tongue.
Let's get
Gotta
back.
do it in the
Okay.
Estonian accent.
All right,
Like,
let's not waste time. So
yeah,
I'm
let's wait.
making a very severe accusation.
Can I get a citation for?
Okay. Okay, people,
Is that
please
wasting
don't
space time or
revert.
just time?
Don't revert back to the way you used to be before last night. Please don't do this, because
We could.
You're the
we
one
know
who
it's that.
set the standards for it's
I
got to be understandable to a
corrected-
baby. So
I
I'm just telling
corrected-
you what the
I corrected.
limit of
I
extent.
corrected myself. I said a little child. I retracted baby. I said little child. Let's continue
How
the
little?
conversation.
How
Let's
old though?
Let's
Yeah, how
continue
old?
the conversation.
define little.
Okay.
Define little.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. 2-year-old is not a baby.
About
Does-
for an
does-
adult
Does it
child?
matter if they're a large but young child?
Are we teething? Are we toddling?
Is a fat
So-
baby little?
So many questions.
So many
Man-child.
questions.
Does
But if
anybody
the
want?
definition
Is anyone
if-
here
if
that
your
is? Is
definition-
anyone here not interested in wasting time? A single person.
Yes.
No, it
Eric,
was just
Just
we
one
have your
person.
if
One
your
person
definition
who's
is
not. One person who's not interested
Correct.
in completely wasting my time. Is there such a person in this room?
Eric,
Me a little bit.
Right, the
Eric.
thing that we're pointing out is that your definition may not be
Yes.
very good. For example, if I try to describe gradient index optics to a child, it probably won't come across, but it's still scientific anyway, because the child doesn't understand it. It's still science anyway.
Congratulations. You're not wasting my time. Wow. This room is incredible. Anyway, look, the point is. The point is that at the end, so I don't know about optics, right? But at the end, optics is photons, and photons are little wavelets that if I could show to a baby a little wavelet interacting and causing there's some at the end, it's some simple mechanical cause and effect. It's like billiard balls or little wavelets, something simple. All that at the end of the day, all the interactions are each on its own is a simple, mechanical, completely classical interaction. That's my assumption. And if you don't accept this assumption, I submit to you, you believe in magic. That's my definition.
Do you want to take the time to? Do you want to take the time to explain Fermat's principle to a baby or a child?
I don't know what you mean by Fermat's principle. What is Fermat's principle? I just explained to you. I'll repeat. I'll repeat. I don't see an issue if I repeat, unless you want to repeat what I said and show me why you cannot answer this question on your own. So I'll say it again. At the end of the day,
You're saying all the fundamental. You're saying all the fundamental interactions are just little mechanical things. It's easy enough for a child to understand. However, if you want to actually use gradient index optics to do anything useful, to perform any useful work with it, you have to use Fermat's principle in order to describe precisely what's happening in terms that can be used to do something.
Yeah, you're not contradicting my claim. There's no contradiction. I agree with that. But that's not what I'm. That's there's no
A child's
contradiction.
not going to get Fermat's principle,
But
not well enough to use it.
Correct. There's no contradiction to my assumption. I'll repeat my assumption, and I'm sorry. I don't want to.
Can you define mechanical first, like the way you're using it?
Yes. Causal. There's a simple cause and effect that I can see and understand easily, and a child can see and understand easily. That is my working assumption. That's my working definition of science. And if you don't submit to this, then you believe in magic.
No,
Is
what
the-
you're actually saying
Says
is,
you.
if you don't understand it, then it's not science.
Incorrect.
Isn't that what you're actually saying?
No,
if
that's
If
not.
it can't be
No.
explained in such a simple way
No.
that you can understand it,
No.
it's not science.
No. I never said that.
No?
I'm
Well,
saying I'll repeat. I'll
that-
repeat.
That's what it sounded.
I'll repeat.
Yeah,
I'll
that's-
repeat, and you'll see that what you're saying is not what I'm saying. Listen, my words are different than yours, and what I'm saying is different. So I'm saying at the end of the day, I'm not saying at the beginning of the day. At the end of the day, ultimately, fundamentally, there are every phenomena in the universe that we see, ultimately, is little tiny mechanical interactions, aka causal interactions, cause and effect, such that if I show that to a baby, they will comprehend it, or a child. They will comprehend it. It's easily comprehensible. That's my assumption. It has nothing to do with the fact that I don't understand many things right now. Nothing to do with that.
So basically, what it is, it's a dumbed down explanation
I submit
in
to
such
you.
a way that
I
the child can understand it.
I submit.
It
If you
is-
don't, I submit to you. If you don't accept this definition, you believe in magic.
How
do.
do you
The
explain?
problem
How do you
is you
explain
keep-
magnetism to a toddler?
Look, at the end of the day, magnetism is right. There are little photons, little wave
Oh,
packets.
what are those?
Wave packets.
What are those? Explain it to me like I'm a toddler.
That's
What's a
not
wave
that.
packet?
Look, I don't need to explain to you anything. I'm just saying this is my working definition of science, and if you don't accept it, you believe in magic. Nothing.
No,
Other than-
I'm using yours.
What is magic?
Magic.
We don't
Define
accept
magic.
it. We don't agree with your definition. That's it.
No.
You don't get to make definitions
Yeah.
for everybody. Sorry.
What do
Yeah.
you mean? What do we?
Maybe I do believe in magic, but
What do we disagree
I'd love to
on?
know what he.
What do
No,
we
you've
disagree on?
defined-
I define.
Yeah, you've
I define
defined your
magic
terms
as
in a
natural.
yeah, you've defined your terms in a certain way. We do not agree with your definition,
What
so
don't you
therefore
agree
you
with?
do not get the claim.
What don't you agree with?
I don't agree with your definition that science is only if the basal structures or explanations of the universe are understandable to a little child. I've
Wait.
considered that to be a stupid definition.
That's not the complete definition. So I'll repeat. Sorry, I'll repeat again my definition. So
Yeah, it was.
I'll repeat.
You don't have
Yeah,
to
it was.
repeat it again. We've heard it like 13 times at
But
least since I've been here.
You're misquoting.
That's not
Yeah.
the problem.
You keep
The
misquoting.
problem isn't the fact
You
that we
keep
didn't.
misquoting.
The problem
You
is not
keep
the fact that
misquoting.
we didn't.
You
Shut
keep
up,
misquoting.
dude. The
But you
problem
keep
is not that we
I've
didn't
been
hear you.
misquoted.
The problem is
I've
not that we
been-
didn't hear the words
But
that you
I've
said.
been
The
misquoted.
problem is that you're trying to tie
been
the understanding of a child to it. That's not how science is defined. The way science is defined is it needs to be something that we can use, something.
They silenced me. Very, very bad. Very bad people.
It's every man's duty. You damn right.
What did I just read in Psalms? Didn't you hear that?
Out of context. I know.
Anyway, so it's very interesting that when push comes to shove, they know that my definition is getting in their way. They don't like the definition. Oh my God. Did I say hi to these guys? Let me see.
totally agree.
Okay, they're having me muted, so there's no point in being there. All right. I really don't want to waste time. I can be there forever. I'm contemplating what's the benefit of debating endlessly. Is there a benefit? I mean, I'm trying to. It's for me. At the end of the day, it's for me. I know it makes good content to have debates, but I don't want to waste too much time. I ran away. Well, it's funny that you're watching. No, they muted me. I didn't run away. When they mute me, what's the point? What do you mean I ran away? Wait. Yeah, I didn't run away. They muted me. I will not be silenced. I mean, I'm trying to have a conversation. They're misquoting me and talking over me. All right, let's give it another shot. Oh, Amber. Okay. I'll be here. I'll try to re-enter, but
For some stupid reason.
why
Not
was
for
I
long, though.
muted?
Pete and Johnny B got into it, I think.
Ooh.
Ooh.
That was completely unlistenable. There's no way to listen to that. There's no words. It doesn't.
Not
It's not
English.
language.
I mean, are you okay, Doofus? Did you get over it all right, or do you need help, or do you need, like, wow,
Wait, can you hear me?
you're
therapy,
back.
perhaps?
Hello.
Hey. Wait, I was muted, so I left.
Yes, you were muted because you were over talking. If once Doofus was going to finish his point, I was going to unmute you, but you bailed like a little baby.
No, I just don't look. If I was misquoted, I tried to correct you. You misquoted me, and I tried to correct the quote and repeat my definition again. I'm sorry that I need to have to repeat my definition, but if I get misquoted as to my definition, I have to, reclaim my definition. You're not letting me say my definition, so you left me no choice. Look, in general.
No, you do not get to overtalk, okay? Just FYI.
Right, and I think I heard the definition at least several times, and I recalled exactly what your definition was, and you said you agreed with me recalling it. So I mean, you told me that you agreed with what I said.
Okay, what's my definition of science? I'm sorry that I've asked that.
No.
All right, if you've got some concept you're trying to describe, it has some underlying mechanism which is at its very lowest level understandable by a child, is what you were saying.
That's an incomplete quote. That's
a little child.
That's incomplete. So let me please just add the correction.
Okay, get to it.
Which is no, don't say that. Be nice. Like, I'm trying to be nice.
Nearly there.
So at the end, it's mechanical, it's causal, and it's simple, and it's understandable, even to a child. So you skip all the important stuff and you jumping to the child, and then you're making fun of me. Oh, you're saying that the child can understand, advanced math. I didn't say that. I'm saying the universe ultimately.
Okay, but I had just said what you said.
No, you didn't.
I just finished saying exactly what you said.
No, you did not. It's recorded. I can, there's everything here.
Right. For any phenomenon, it is at some basic level. The mechanics, the mechanism of it is understandable by a child.
You're skipping.
I said that.
No, you're
then you said basically exactly what I said.
No.
And we said the same fucking thing.
No, you're skipping. Look, I'm sorry. You're skipping over a very essential part. It's simple. The universe is mechanical, causal, simple, intuitive, understandable, even to a child, immediately. That's the working definition.
That's what I said.
No, you did not say that. You skipped. You're saying it's some mechanism
The
that's
only-
understandable to a child.
The only thing he skipped was the word causal.
No, there's a bunch of words. It's not just causal, because you can have complex causal. I claim it's not. I claim it's simple
said it's
causal.
Understandable even to a little child.
He skipped
That's what he said, and that is what everybody understands
Okay.
means simple.
No,
Don't
no,
worry
no,
about it.
Look, no,
We know how to use language.
No, this. Stop. Look, you keep saying, oh, your definition is it's causally understandable to a child. Oh, a child doesn't understand advanced math. Okay, if you skip the middle part, of course you're gonna make fun of the end that it's understandable to a child. Yeah, you wanna argue with half a definition. You're not arguing with me.
Okay, tell me how a child is going to understand gravitational time dilation.
Gravitational time dilation. I actually submitted a paper to the server, and all you could do is mock it. So I'm not even. I don't even know what to say to that.
Well,
You mocked my paper. You never read the paper. You never commented on the paper. You never asked me questions about the paper. You just mocked, and 2 whole days of laughing about my papers.
You're right. I didn't. Please give me the cliff notes. Just give me some sort of,
Fine.
a couple sentences from the abstract.
Gladly. So,
and I was hoping I was going to get an explanation to a child for the gravitational time dilation. Instead, he switched to the paper.
And I bet not a single baby has read the paper.
And the child wouldn't submit a paper.
So
it's so simple, even a baby could write it.
So as soon as you stop wasting my time, I will make 2 sentences, say 2 sentences that even a baby can understand, that it will explain gravitational time dilation. It's really very simple.
That's 2 sentences. That's already 2 sentences.
No, let him. He has the mic. Let's hear it.
So gravitational time dilation, if you understand time dilation and then add gravity, if I show it to a baby, of course a baby will understand it. And that's why my first paper uses a rubber ducky.
Oh my God.
I'm afraid the baby doesn't understand.
I did see. I did look at the rubber ducky paper, and I thought it was parody. I thought it was written by maybe Pete and crew to make fun of. And so it was just I didn't think you were serious with that rubber ducky paper. I'm sorry. So I had a bad mindset when I was going through it.
All right. Anyway, I don't know if you're serious or not. At this point, I've given up on you people. But I'll, at least
you see the problem here.
Anyway, I'll ignore your comments. I'll ignore comments about what I see or don't see, and I'll continue maybe speaking without any interruptions, and respond to your challenge. Right? You're challenging me. Can I explain to a baby gravitational time dilation? And I claim that it's super simple. That the rubber ducky can explain it. So if you can let me just speak it out instead of showing you the paper, because apparently you don't have the capacity to read papers without losing your wits. Anyway, so the rubber ducky demonstrates time dilation. It's very similar, of course, to Dialect's video. They did something similar. It's not a rubber ducky, but they used a tiny robot that works on sound waves. And they showed how you can get time dilation in using sound. So all you need to now understand is that gravity is the flow of ether. 1 second. So if gravity is the flow of ether, you get time dilation. The end. Questions?
You didn't really explain time dilation.
No, I didn't explain.
I didn't explain anything, did it?
So you can watch that. Look, it's understandable to a baby when you show it to them. If I show a baby, I said at the end of the day, it's simple mechanical interactions. Show the baby the rubber ducky, and the baby, of course, will understand the fact that the tick-tocking of the rubber ducky slows down when the rubber ducky moves.
This can't be serious.
Okay. Anyway, I got to take a phone
just
call.
Wrong about how the universe operates.
So the tick-tocking slows down, the rubber ducky goes in a direction, the ether flows. All of these things, there's no actual description for why anything is happening, and supposedly a child's supposed to be able to understand it.
If I show a child, for example, dialects video, if I actually, so right, either rubber ducky or dialects video, time dilation in a fluid, time dilation is a result of fluid dynamics. You get time dilation in a fluid or in 1 second.
No, not like in gravity.
Well, okay.
Fluid
Time
dynamics
dilation.
is
Look,
describing the forces on things. It has nothing to do with time dilation.
Hold
Fluid
on.
dynamics is just forces on things.
Oh, hold on. So time dilation, of course, is understandable to a baby with a rubber ducky. Of course, a child, a baby, a literal baby, before they can speak, they can understand time dilation in the bathtub.
Hey, Mr. Slave. Mr. Slave, I'm familiar with dialect, the dialect channel. I don't know, other people here may not be.
Okay.
It is a YouTube channel where they believe in an ether, as an explanation for a lot of relativistic effects. They, my assessment is that, they know their stuff a lot more than the average, flat earther or the ether boys seem to. However, I don't believe that they made some, what I consider to be some pretty obvious mistakes in some of their calculations, and I don't think that they get things right. So, but this sounds, I'm not saying he stole it from the channel.
Wait,
but I'm
channel?
saying it's what's the name of it?
Dialect.
Dialect. Yeah, dialect. Yeah, that's it. Where they talk about the idea of time dilation being the cause of gravity, which they say, and I believe it well posed that it's not. So, but my assessment here is that the idea that these particle interactions are all necessarily elementary, I don't think that checks out. Okay, I don't think that everything, especially if you're describing all the interactions as wave-based and not particle-based. So, for example, the reason I brought up Compton scattering as the first thing that we talked about is that Compton scattering is a description of an interaction that is explicitly particle-centric. That is one of the things that's really hard to explain as a wave. So I think that if you're going to hold that all of these interactions are simple enough for the proverbial child to understand, you're going to have to, in order to make that assertion concretely, you're going to have to look at the particle-like interactions, and you're going to have to redefine them in terms of a wave. And you can't just say, well, but it's a wave. A wave does this. There's mathematics behind them that you're going to have to address. You're going to have to address the math behind them that uses a particle-like collision, a inelastic collision, to define how it behaves. And if you can do that, because a child can also understand a collision between pool balls, right? They understand that the cue ball hits the 8 ball and the 8 ball moves and the cue ball stops. So a child will understand that as well, but that contradicts your thesis pretty strongly.
What contradicts my thesis?
the idea that these elementary particles, these elementary behaviors that we see are all waves instead of particle interactions.
Look, my thesis is about the definition of science. Honestly, we shouldn't even be having this conversation before we understand, because you're challenging me to explain gravitational time dilation, which I can honestly easily explain it to a baby using the ether model. The ether model is powerful.
So I've heard you explain. I've heard your explanation that the waves are propagating.
That's irrelevant.
Because the rubber ducky doesn't have a clock, the only clock they have.
Honestly, it's irrelevant. Because we're trying to have a more foundational discussion about the very definition of science.
Well, that's fine, but there are interactions. So first off, I don't think your description of time dilation works. I don't think
It's
that
irrelevant.
It explains the phenomenon that we see.
Honestly, it's irrelevant. I'm trying to have a discussion about the definition of science, but it's fine. We can have multiple discussions because I'm open to any discussion at this point, as long as you people are, being serious.
I've got a question for you.
But before that, I gotta.
It's basically a simple question.
I have to do something offline. Give me 1 minute. I just have to listen to a message. Give me a minute, please. I'm going to turn off everything for a second. I'll be right back.
I was basically just going to ask what gives him the authority to define what science is.
It's just
so many of us disagree.
It's fine. It's my definition. I'm just giving you my definition or my.
Yeah, but don't you see? Most of us do not agree with your definition. So why do you continue pressing on that we have to go by your definition?
You don't have to. You don't have to. I just say if you don't. Yeah, I just claimed. Yeah. I just claimed if you don't, then you believe in magic. But hold on, give me a minute.
I do not.
Fine. I understand.
You are defining your science.
Let me just do something offline. Give me
what 60 fucking idiot.
No, I'll be right back. I'll be right back.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, 1 second.
is that we just don't agree with its definition, and he cannot simply define himself to be correct. A priori, he does not have that right.
Of course not. I'm not.
I love the gravitational time dilation is explained by, well, if you understood time dilation, then you just add gravitation. That was a nice explanation. I love that.
Okay. I didn't. That's not what I did, and I'll gladly at
Yes,
any
you did.
time.
Yes, you absolutely fucking did. Stop gaslighting. You said that if you already understand if you already understand time dilation, then gravitational yada yada yada, and at that point I can say, no, babies or kids don't understand time dilation.
Okay, it's up to you.
You're just done.
Okay, it's up to you. What do you want to talk about? I'll gladly talk about any topic as long as we're being productive. Any topic, ask me anything on anything, as much as you want. Challenge me, anything. Just please, no more nonsense.
Well, I've already challenged you on the double slit experiment, and you folded like a house of cards. So.
That's possible, but that is possible. But
a good cold house card.
That is possible, but that doesn't go to the definition of science. The fact that if we were right now in ancient Greece and we would be debating. So, right, I don't need to understand the universe in order to claim that according to my definition of science, the universe is easily understandable. The fact that I might not.
Good for you, because most cosmologists and scientists who is at the forefront of science do not understand all of it.
I'll ignore that. Anyway.
So you continues to claim a bunch of stuff, and that to be science, it has to be very easily explainable. Well, no, sorry.
Understandable.
That is ironically an ipse dixit fallacy.
Yeah.
What's an ipse dixit? What?
Because I said so. That's what it means. So
yes.
You literally
define it.
You define science as this. Why? Because you said so. That's why.
I mean,
well, we don't agree with your definition, so
that's fine. Then listen to the result. I'm saying
but hang on, just 1 minute.
Wait, that's not fair. That's
do not
not
use your own made-up definition of science to claim that if we don't agree with you, we are believing in magic. Please stop doing that.
Hold on. Look, it's going to be very difficult to have a conversation with multiple people if multiple of you speak and only then I get to speak. It's just gonna be very difficult for everyone. I mean, I'm having a good time, but what's the point of you piling on many questions if I'm unable to answer any question because you're not allotting me time?
Yes. But then again, let me explain once more.
Wait,
you
what?
You have made up your own definition of science.
Yes.
And you claim if we don't believe in your personal definition of science, we believe in magic.
No. Wait, no, I didn't say that.
That is quite a trigger point.
I didn't say that.
Yes, you did.
Not exactly. I would
never.
You
said it several times.
No. I would never say that. Here's the mistake. So you said, if you don't believe my definition. No. Definition is
We don't agree.
Let him finish, retard.
Yeah, exactly. So it's very different if believing a definition and agreeing to a definition. Look, the purpose of a definition is just to have a conversation. It's thoroughly technical for the conversation. There is no other purpose of a definition other than to agree in order to build on a conversation.
Okay, yeah, well, we don't. So we don't agree with your definition of science.
Then it's impossible to have a conversation.
And sorry, I said believe. Agree. You claim that if we don't agree with your definition of science, we believe in magic.
Correct.
You said that several times.
Correct. Now let's have it. Let's talk about that.
We don't agree with that statement either.
Well,
no, we do not.
Well, this is an if-then. This is already logic. So just asserting logic, just asserting a conclusion is futile. It's a lot. That is ipse dixit. Whatever you said, that is literally ipse dixit.
It's definitely not ipse dixit fallacy, but whatever.
Okay, then prove it.
Dixit, boys, it's learning.
Then prove it.
Okay, you know what I want to see now? I want to see Mr. Slave versus Gregory. Would you agree to that, Mr. Slave?
What
Jesus
is
Christ, that'd be
Gregory?
epic.
Oh,
Mr. Slave versus Gregory. The
What
topic
is?
will be: does mass attract mass?
oh, yes.
You want to ask if mass attracts mass?
Yeah, he will debate you on mass attracting mass.
Okay. So
Are
I
you up for
agree.
it?
I agree that mass attracts mass is a special case of mass
Oh
attracting.
no! Don't spoil it for us. Well, I want to see the
Oh.
debate happen.
I mean, but we need to present our contentions. The what do you call
Yeah,
it?
that's what I'm saying. You'll argue for mass attracting mass, and he'll say it cannot attract mass. Mass cannot attract itself.
Mass cannot attract itself.
Yeah, it's even crazier than that. But
I don't want to waste my time. Look, I'd rather not. I don't want to waste my time.
come on.
No. I'm not
Come
here.
on.
I'm honestly, I'm
It's
not
only
here.
2 hours. Only be 2
No, I'm not
hours.
here to waste my time. No. Wait,
No,
who's
slave,
asking?
slave. It would be productive.
Who's
it would be
asking?
productive because he does present many cogent arguments.
Who's asking?
In many topics of physics and science. So it would be a great challenge
No.
to, as you said, you need reinforcement to your logic.
No.
And so we need to see someone challenge it.
He said he needs challenging.
No.
Gregory is most challenging.
No, I'm not.
He's also himself very challenged.
No, I'm interested in talking to only someone who at least is.
Oh, he's serious as a heart attack.
No. You need
He
to be.
definitely is. No joke. Gregory, I'm not even shitting here. Gregory definitely thinks himself serious.
I don't care. No, my starting point is mainstream science. I'm not interested in Looney Tunes.
So go ahead and debate mainstream science with him. I'm sure he will indulge you.
No, I'd rather debate someone who starts from mainstream science.
He starts even further back. He starts from pure logic.
Okay.
Oh yeah, he's way above science.
It's so sad. It's so sad that you people are some of you are so smart, yet thoroughly are wasting your time. Very sad.
In this case, dude, we're not even trolling at all. Gregory would definitely give you quite the challenge.
I'm not interested. I told you I'm not interested.
Great. It really would.
Not interested.
And then we would all have a higher respect for you.
Not interested.
Gregory's on your team, Mr. Slade.
Not interested.
They're trying to pin you against someone.
Not interested.
No, they're polar opposites, I think.
Not interested.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Slave agrees with big science. Gregory thinks that science has made many mistakes along the way. So definitely that's something that they should debate on.
Not interested.
But they think that science is wrong for different reasons.
Yes.
Mr. Slave knows he'll get his ass handed to him on a plate at a master like Gregory at the helm. And I think Gregory will beat him too.
Gregory definitely will drive that conversation.
Yeah. Okay, come on.
And the
Stop
cherry
wasting
on that
time.
cake.
Please stop
the
wasting
cherry on
time.
that cake is he's a flat earther.
Please stop wasting time.
So how about it, Mr. Slave? You'd have
no.
Back to our regularly scheduled programming. Okay, there's a poll in the chat. I think we just need to keep the social pressure on. Everybody vote in the poll. It's very important.
I don't feel like saying no now. Like you have to put that in brackets.
It's the obvious conclusion if you say no.
Okay, I need to go soon, so don't waste. You're wasting precious time, my time, your time. Anyway, C-Line.
100% of the votes are for you debating Gregory on gravity.
No.
Gregory will kill him. It's going to be a mass murder, dude. You could be charged with murder if you let Mr. Slave meet Gregory. Gregory is too good. Mr. Slave is mere amateur. Gregory is.
Oh yeah, Gregory, but smoking with one lung.
Master. He has a unique set of skills. He has a unique set of skills, not unlike Liam Neeson. but better. Yeah, Mr. Slave won't have it stand.
You're wasting everybody's time.
So, Mr. Slave, what is your purpose of coming in here? You want to discuss this in scientific subject, is that so?
My purpose is to stress test my philosophy and my theory. That's my purpose.
Oh, this would be stress if you would talk to Gregory.
All right. If you're going to continue wasting my time,
be
I'll just leave because I'd rather do anything else than waste my time. So, do you want to talk
That would be
to
a hell of
me
a stress
now
test.
about stress testing, my definition of
Gregory's got your measure.
science, gravitational time dilation, anything? Please, just don't waste my time because I'd rather go.
Well, we could do, let's say, Stokes' law and equivalent circulating density.
What is Stokes' law?
And sag effects.
I didn't do sag effects. What?
In a dynamic fluid, yeah.
I don't know what those are.
No,
Maybe I do. No, maybe I do know, but I don't know the names. Go ahead.
Yeah, which is an example.
Of what?
For the subject that could be discussed if you're talking about mainstream science.
Yeah, I mean,
or is it just, or is it a few specific subjects you like to discuss in?
My preference, obviously, is foundation of science and foundation of physics. That's my preference.
Yeah. Why don't you go ahead and read up on philosophy of science?
Okay. All right, these guys don't want to talk. Fine. Look, existence, telling me that I keep running away. They keep wasting my time. So, I don't want to waste my time. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, they don't want to talk. It's like pulling teeth with these people. I'm trying to have a conversation with them about anything. No. They don't want to have a conversation. No conversations. So I don't know what to do. They just want to waste time.
Who cares?
Oh, he's back.
He's back.
Is Mr. Slave a flat earther then?
Oh my God! Does anybody want to talk about anything foundational, like definition of science, definition of magic, foundational physics, foundations of physics?
Yeah, models and geometry and predictive capability of models and geometry.
Okay.
Sea Lion, can you represent Gregory's position here?
It's impossible. It's just impossible. These people are impossible. They don't want to be serious. So I don't know what to do. It's a complete waste. They just want to waste time. They just want to waste time. I don't want to waste my time. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do.
Premise 3, matter cannot be causal.
Mode of inference?
Modus tollens, I think.
Modus ponens, yeah.
Ponens or tollens? I don't fucking.
Ponens is the direct one. Tollens is the contradiction one.
Okay, ponens then.
You don't want to talk about my definition of science and why if you don't accept it, you believe in magic?
No, we don't.
I'm still confused. What's the argument, Mr. Slave? Are you a flat earther, or are you just arguing what science is?
I don't think he knows.
I'm just wondering if you want us to submit to your definition of science.
You don't have to,
and then go on from there to.
You don't have to, but logic dictates that if you don't submit to my definition of science, then you believe in magic.
How? Explain how. How do we? Yeah.
Please present your logical syllogism for that conclusion.
Because according to you, if I tell you that there is magic in the universe, you cannot argue against that. Because according to you, the universe might not be causal, or if it's causal, it might be too complex to understand. Therefore, magic.
No, you said that it is logical that if somebody doesn't agree with your definition of science, that therefore they believe in magic. So please present your logical argument for why That is your conclusion.
I just did. I'll repeat myself. So, according to you, the universe is either not causal, which is for me the definition of magic, or it is causal, but it's complex causal that I cannot understand. Therefore, for all intents and purposes, I might as well believe in magic because I can't understand the causal mechanism. Then anything goes. Anything could be. Then that's magic.
No,
That's
no.
not a
If you,
syllogism.
no. And another thing is, if you don't know or understand it, you don't know and understand it.
What?
You said, if we don't understand the causal reason, then we believe in magic. No, that's not how science works. If you don't know, science says, well, we don't know.
Oh, that is a literal tautology. I don't need science to tell me that if I don't know, I don't know.
That's what you're claiming. You're saying if science doesn't understand it, then we believe in magic.
No,
Science is magic.
Never said that. I never said that.
There's the wrecking ball.
Oh, it's Bartek.
So I mean,
Everyone.
you're believing in.
Okay, more wasting time. It's just a bunch of smart people getting together and wasting time. So I don't know what to do with that. I give up. I just give up. I don't want to waste my time because this can go on for days. Like they might have a timeout and actually be curious for a couple of seconds at a time, and then they would go back for days of making fun. That's what happens when you put people together. I don't care what their IQ is and what their knowledge is. They could be super knowledgeable, but as soon as you put them together, they just want to waste time. Like they might as well be little babies. Existence, you are the one that is impossible to talk. You're look. This is nothing but ad hominem. I'm gonna ignore this comment. It's impossible to take you seriously. You're not arguing. Talk about the topic. You are not serious. There you go again. You are silly and cannot understand that you are so out to lunch that no one needs to take your nonsense seriously. Well, if it's such nonsense, it should be so easy to disprove it. Why don't you disprove it? Why don't you step up to the plate and disprove it? It's so easy. I'm so impossible. I'm so not serious. I'm so silly. I so cannot understand. I'm so out to lunch and I shouldn't be taken seriously and nonsense. Fantastic. Then it should be so easy for you to debunk me. Then go ahead. For some curious reason, you're not stepping up.
And so what?
There you go.
So what?
Hey, anyone else? Is that
Is,
got rid of me?
is-
You're gonna come on, clean
But
out the
that's
place,
Toro.
man.
No,
Left leg can lead as well.
Blatek. You haven't met Mr. Slave yet. Mr. Slave, you should talk to Blatek.
Blate. About what?
Oh, about anything. He can give you some good feedback. He's the smartest man on the server.
You should try and explain gravitational time dilation to him. He's definitely on the intellect capability of a little child. So
Okay, gravitational time dilation doesn't make any sense.
for your
Total joke.
claims there, Mr. Slave.
Okay. What's your name? Blate? I don't see you.
Blatek. Blatek.
Oh, you can call me Dr. Blah. I prefer that.
Okay.
Dr. Blah.
What's
Oh, I like it.
all right? So, what's your position about anything? What's your main theory of the universe? Rebellion to tyrants is
No
obedience.
idea.
You believe in God?
Of course, there's a God.
Of course, there is a God.
We exist. There's no other reason why we exist unless there's a God. It's just obvious.
Okay.
Yep.
What's your definition of God? Maybe we agree. So, what's your definition of God?
We are created in the image of God. That's how I know there's a God.
But what's your definition of God?
Look, I'm not going to define God.
No, we might agree on God. If you define God in a certain way, maybe I'll agree with you that there is a God. So how do you? Right, there's many
Okay,
definitions.
fine.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, fine. Now, Miss Slave, are you a globe earther, spitting basketball?
I am a thoroughly mainstream scientist. I agree with.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Get him, Blah.
Yeah. Okay, fine. I got a series of questions for you. You don't have to answer it. It's totally voluntary. And
Sure.
it's up to you. Okay. First of all, do you wear glasses, contacts, or spectacles?
I don't discuss anything personal ever.
Slam dunk.
You got him. Yet another one, Blah. He's on fire, mate.
That's it. That is the debate. That's it. My person. Something personal.
It's over.
Got ya.
All right.
There you go.
You.
Blatek's cooking with gas here.
It's a fucking 100% success rate. All these scientists are blind as a bat.
You do it. You are just so on fire.
All right. Does anybody want to have a serious conversation and not just laugh all the time? Like, what's?
Bro, don't try and deflect from the fact that Blatek just cooked you.
Fine, he cooked me. I don't even know how, because he referenced me.
Yep.
Okay. That's how you win on this server. You
Okay,
just
no, but okay, fine. Okay, can you please not call yourself Mr. Slave? You sound kind of, submissive.
Ooh. You got yourself a hankering there, Blah.
All right. All right. Nothing. Even you bring in a guy from the outside who is anti-mainstream, and all he knows to do is to reference the person he's talking to. It's like these people know nothing except for let's reference the person I'm talking to. What is wrong with these people?
Oh no!
Oh, he's back.
He's back. Around
Okay,
hey. Get him, Blah.
Okay, fine. Hey, Mr. Slave, or is that Mrs. Lave? Can I call you Mrs. Lave? Or Mrs. Larvae? Larvae? Mrs. Larvae?
Blah. Ripping us. Tear him a new one, Blah.
Okay, fine. But what country are you from?
I don't discuss myself. So do you want to discuss anything but myself? Yes or no?
Yeah, Blatek, you have to understand, Mr. Slave here is a little bit of a private person.
Yeah, you gotta focus on the argument.
No, you gotta dismantle him. You gotta dismantle him by talking about his arguments. Can you do that, Blah?
I'm not
pretty
even
sure you're
going
up
to
the challenge.
discuss.
Oh, come on, dude, you're up to the
2024,
challenge.
I'm not discussing Globe Earth. It's totally dead in the water.
You
It's
running?
just
Sound like you're
laughable,
running, Blatek.
Look, as I told you, it's dead. There never was a spinning basketball. Why are you debating this? You just want to drag.
He's not trying to talk about spinning. He's not trying to talk about Earth. He's trying to explain gravitational time dilation to you. So, would you be
I'm
open
not
to
going to
discuss
discuss
that?
something that doesn't even exist. Why would I discuss something that doesn't even exist?
Mr. Slave, can you explain that gravitational time dilation to him then? That it's easily understandable, like you said, for a baby.
He doesn't want to listen.
Mrs. Law.
So, Mr. Blatek, do you have any questions? Mr. Blatek, do you have any questions for me? Mr. Blatek, do you want to talk?
Well, you did fail the glasses question, so he's got a superiority complex on you now.
Does anybody want to have a conversation about anything that is not a thorough waste of time? Anyone?
I was watching this random video last night, and there was a female
All right, nothing but waste of time. All right, let's get back to reviewing Dirac notation.
That self-same Hermitian matrix may operate on a different, it's the same vector, but now just multiplied by an ordinary real number. And when that is the case, that vector is called an eigenvector, and that number is called an eigenvalue. What you will typically find is that self-same Hermitian matrix may operate on a different vector to produce the same different vector, but multiplied by a different real number. And what you will say is that for each Hermitian matrix, they will have two separate eigenvectors, each of which will give rise to a separate eigenvalue. That's the maths. Now we can move on to the physics. And what the physics...
Okay. This notation, I don't like it because all it does is let's not understand. This has nothing to do with understanding the universe. It's just notations, just in order to note the way the universe behaves without trying to understand the behavior. I don't know. This is so difficult. It feels like such a waste of time. Let me check. This is today's video. If I want the way the universe behaves without yeah. Wait, we have a comment. So, what was the topic, or should I just say abracadabra? What topic? Topic of what? Topic? I don't know what you mean. I don't know what you mean. All right. Let's maybe. I want to do something that is productive, at least in the interim. Maybe I'll come back later to have a discussion with these people. I need to be able to come and go. Wow, that's a good simulation. Vector calculus complete animated course for dummies, 46 minutes. So vector calculus, when you show the vectors, even a baby can understand it. Oh, I'm not sharing. Good. So when you show vector calculus to a baby can understand vector calculus. It's so simple. But when you use the mathematical notation, that's difficult. Even for someone like me, it's difficult to understand the notation, or I need to imagine this from the notation. Is difficult. I mean, it's very shorthand. But when you show the 3D animations to a baby, of course a baby can understand it. A baby can understand. It's very straightforward. Anyone can understand it. Quantum wave function actually collapse.
Physicists have been pondering this. Have you ever wondered what a quantum object truly is? You are not alone. Physicists have been pondering this question for a long time, from when we first identified the quantum.
1 second, I can make a phone call. Like, there's this chick and she said, let's talk. At one point, let me see. All right, let's wait for her.
World until right now. Physicists are still arguing about what the true interpretation of a quantum object is. And some recent measurements have helped to shed some light on this argument. While the mathematics of quantum mechanics allows us to make excellent predictions, it fails to definitively describe what a quantum object is. So the question remains, what is a quantum wave function? And if this wave function actually exists, what happens to it when we measure it? Let's discuss it. So what is a wave function?
Let's see what she's saying. All right. So she wants me to call her in 10 minutes. Remind me in 10 minutes to call. Yeah, these reminders never work. So let's set a timer for 10 minutes. Start timer for 10 minutes. Okay. Hopefully that will work. All right.
In the early days of quantum mechanics, Erwin Schrödinger wrote down his famous Schrödinger equation, which allowed us to calculate the probability of finding.
I've never seen, well, I didn't yet understand this definition of Schrödinger's equation. Oh, this is just total energy. Mm-hmm. And so this is really not the best. I wouldn't say this is the best notation because, well, H is here. Anyway, because there's no M, you still need to, well, it depends on right, depends on the object that you're analyzing.
Finding a quantum object in a
He died in 1961. Wow.
given state by treating it as a wave function. But the understanding of what this wave function truly is remains up for debate. Some physicists think that
That's the wrong question to ask. Not the question is what is the wave function. The question is what is waving? If you have that question, Schrödinger didn't have a question.
quantum mechanics, Erwin Schrödinger wrote down his famous Schrödinger equation, which allowed us to calculate the probability of finding a quantum object in a given state.
It doesn't allow you to just get the probability. It gives you the wave. It gives you a wave function that describes, it's just a model that describes a wave. What's so difficult to understand about that? I don't get it. Why they're finding it so difficult to understand.
By treating it as a wave function. But the understanding of what this wave function truly is remains up for debate. So, in the early days of quantum mechanics, Erwin Schrödinger wrote down his famous Schrödinger equation, which allowed us to calculate the probability of finding a quantum object in a given state by treating it as a wave function. But the understanding of what this
Not by treating it as a wave function, by treating it as a wave. He just took the Broyle and Bohr seriously. That's all.
wave function truly is remains up for debate. Some physicists think that this is a physical object, while others view it as a probability wave, which has no physical realization. These different interpretations have
How can you say it has no physical realization? I don't get it.
consequences for how we view reality, and scientists have just performed some measurements that will change how we view some of these interpretations. But more on that soon. Let's start with why we have interpretations. Let's take a single photon that goes through a beam splitter. When the photon goes through the beam splitter, it has a 50% chance of going to the right.
The question is, what is a photon? What are you assuming a photon is? Okay, so the photon comes in. If you can split a photon in two, then what? Then it's not. Then what? I don't know. I mean, then it's not a photon. Then now you have two photons.
Right? And a 50% chance of going straight through. And we know this.
I don't get it. So there's a photon here and a photon here. So I guess what? Oh, one option is for it to be deflected here, and one option is for it to be to go straight. So a single photon can do either one of these two things. It cannot do both.
This to be true because we've measured it, but we only know this when the measurement is performed. Have just performed some measurements that will change how we view some of these interpretations. But more on that soon. Let's start with why we have interpretations. Let's take a single photon that goes through a beam splitter. When the photon goes through the beam splitter, it has a 50% chance of going to the right and a 50% chance of going straight through. And we know this to be true because we've measured it, but we only know this when the measurement is performed.
Well, that's great. So a photon cannot be split in two. Mm-hmm.
Quantum mechanics tells us about everything that's happened up until the point of the measurement. It describes that when the photon goes through the beam splitter, it goes through in both directions, and that now there is a wave function that describes photons traveling along both paths simultaneously. Quantum mechanics then
I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't understand what you just said. You said that it goes through either or, and then you said it went through both.
Perform some measurements that will change how we view some of these interpretations. But more on that soon. Let's start with why we have interpretations. Let's take a single photon that goes through a beam splitter. When the photon goes through the beam splitter, it has a 50% chance of going to the right and a 50% chance of going straight through. And we know this to be true because we've measured it. But we only know.
Okay, so you measured that it either goes to the right or it either goes to the straight.
This when the measurement is performed. Quantum mechanics tells us about everything that's happened up until the point of the measurement. It describes that when the photon goes.
Why does he halfway through telling me about an experiment, he's already discussing it? Just stick to the experiment. I'm getting lost. What did you experience during the experiment? That's my question.
When the measurement is performed. Quantum mechanics tells us about everything that's happened up until the point of the measurement. It describes that when the photon goes through the beam splitter, it goes through in both directions, and that now there is a wave function that describes.
I don't know what that means. You just told me sometimes it goes to the right and sometimes it goes straight. Tell me about your experience.
Photons traveling along both paths simultaneously. Quantum mechanics then says when a measurement is performed, the wave function collapses down to form a single state.
Look, it's useless. He's wasting time. He's not telling me about the experiment. Tell me the experiment. It's useless. It's useless. It's useless. It's a waste of time.
Either the photon has gone straight through or it's gone to the right.
Okay, wave function before measurement. I don't know what that means. After measurement. I don't know what that means. I don't know what you mean by that. I don't know. I don't know what you mean by measurement. Like, you're not telling me about the experiment. Why is it so difficult?
But here's the issue. What if these two measurement locations were really far away?
Okay, this is a complete waste of time. So he's going to beyond. Okay, so oops. Okay. Terrible video. When was it? This is a year ago. 242 comments, 19,000. Terrible video. Please, 1, tell me about the experiment. 2, ask me a question about the experiment. 3, try to answer the question. 4, show some contradiction. I'm at 231. I'm at 231 and I have literally zero idea what the experiment was or what the results were. I completely wasted my time here. Okay. Terrible. Just terrible. Okay, so I have to make a phone call in a couple of minutes. We'll have to stop. Let me see. We've been here for an hour and a half. What was the time? Okay, I saw this before. So I have a message. New mentions. I don't see a mention. What? Oh, wait. Let me see this. General. I don't know what's going on. What's this? Okay, and I have to make a phone call. Yeah, let's make a phone call. So I'm gonna, I guess, hang up and we'll be back later. All right, bye.